Well, how are you doing, everybody? It's good to have you again. It's the CJ Scott, and I'm your host, CJ Atemo, coming to you right here on YouTube and Facebook as well. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel, CJ Atemo? Well, if you have not done that, kindly do so right now. I'd be so glad to have you on board as one of the subscribers to our YouTube channel. Well, in a place where we keep on bringing out content, talking about matters that are pertinent to you, things that capture our imaginations and conversations. And I always say that I set up the jury in court, but then the whole verdict remains with you. Today it's a bit different because we're used to having 3 guests, but I have 2 today. Nevertheless, the discussion is going to be amazing. So share the stream right now, invite your friends, host a watch party if you're doing that from Facebook. And if you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, kindly do so. All right. Please let us know that you're here as well. Engage with us, post your comments, your questions, your thoughts, and we would be so glad to look at them and to respond to them as well as soon as we're able to do that. Today, we are talking about living within your means. And for me to have that, I have one lady, one gentleman today. The lady does not need much introduction here because she has been on CJ Scott, but again, she's somebody that is out there, great following, great influence, a brand ambassador, CEO of Virtual 21.
Yeah, what advice.
I was trying to get that in my mind. The CEO of Virtual 21, talking about Cebbie Koks. Nyasego, that's what she uses on social media, but it's Cebbie Kokeo. It's good to have you here, Cebbie. It's been forever.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
All right, and then I've also got a gentleman who has been coming. He's come to the CJ Scott, but we've been doing some other stuff with him on a different platform. He is the CEO of the Believers Economic Empowerment Program. He is into everything finances and financial training and empowering people for wealth creation, wealth multiplication. So there's absolutely no way we could have had this discussion without me asking my friend Geoffrey Kilonzo to be here with us. It's good to have you.
It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, there has been a recent discussion, and very interestingly, because this thing then went to the senior bloggers in this country. I want to call them senior bloggers. Robert Alai blogged about it, and then Lord Mutai Abraham had to blog about it. There was the issue recently of the NASA CEO, Norman Maguire. The issue just going out, like this guy was earning this amount. He came out to talk about his struggle with the medical bills. And so people started talking about, you know, he's being paid this amount, and why does he live here and why does he live there? Now, this is not really about Norman, but it caused me to think we need to have a discussion about this, because most of us are faced with these general thoughts and decisions that we've got to make every time. Mm-hmm. Are most of us living beyond our means? Are most of us living dreams that we cannot afford? And I want to start with it. Cebbie, I want to start with you. And you know, especially for you, because of who you are, especially like on social media, sometimes you put people under pressure to feel like they need to cope with this life of this lady called Cebbie. Are we mostly, generally, living beyond our means?
Well, thank you guys. I'm happy to be here again. I think when you talk about most people living beyond their dreams or beyond their means, I think the adage is, are you living for what you want to be? Or are you living for now? Are you living for the purpose? Okay. Your purpose, yeah? When you talk about living beyond your means, it means that probably you do not track your expenses, or okay. Probably you do not look at, you don't know how to differentiate between your needs and wants. Okay. The classical example of what is happening right now, I may not dwell much on it, because I think normally we are quick to only see the outer space of right. What someone tells us or what we perceive of that person. Therefore, this guy might have been, he might have planned, yes, yeah. But a lot of times we teeter along the edges, even after, especially with terminal illness or things that drag you through. Yeah. So as much as you may plan to have you may have your plans right, you may not really get it up there, because nobody's guaranteed about tomorrow. Yeah. I honestly believe in dreams
Yeah.
and imagination, because imagination, unlike planes, they will take off anytime.
Yeah.
So the moment you dream big, what you thinketh. So if you dream big, you must live that big. Now the problem comes at the nitty-gritty of how do I live whatever, how do I live my dreams,
Yeah.
or how do I live my purpose? I think that is where we meet. That's where we miss the point.
Yeah.
How do you live from one end to the other? And I think Geoffrey, because you said he's on the finance and all that, I think he's able to take us through how do you how do you live from where you are to your dreams without crushing your dreams? Because sometimes you might have that big dream and you end up crushing it before you get there.
And I like that you raised up that issue, because I was having a discussion with somebody earlier on, Geoffrey, and I said, I feel that there is a good sense to somebody being ambitious.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're very cautious, you may never do a lot of things in life.
Sure.
If you always say, I earn 40K, so I'm not going to extend past this, I'll pay a house 10K and then live within this 40, you might just shoot down a lot of things that you want to do.
Sure.
So I was saying that to somebody, and I'm glad that Cebbie brought up that. I said, there's a good side to this drive. But again, just as she said, I'm also asking myself, so where do you draw the line so that this drive does not kill you?
I think first, what Cebbie has said is very important. It's good to be ambitious, very important. I will have a problem with someone who is not ambitious,
Right.
because again, they will not work hard, they will not fight through.
Yeah.
And the moment you give up in life, you stop, working for it. But again, we're living in a world and a generation where we have access to everybody's life, especially through social media. And sometimes we post truth, facts, and lies. They are all mixed up. Social media is a mix of everything.
Yeah.
And because of social status, I want to be like Cebbie, or a lady who just left college wants to be like Cebbie. Someone is maybe posting a Range Rover, posting a house, and you see what happens on social media, CJ, is you never say whether it's mine or not, but you say, thank God. Thank God. Behind you, it's a Range Rover.
I need to learn this thing. I need to learn this thing of just, taking photos around fine stuff.
Exactly.
And just say it's a good day.
So you would never, the person will never tell you whether it's his, borrowed, hired, or what.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, I'm doing poorly. If so and so we are in the same class, same desk mate in college, how come they have made this much? Yeah. And we start living another person's life. And that is the beginning of disaster, especially for the youth. The other thing is pressure from your class, your peers, especially the example you've given. This is someone who is in a political class, right? He's meeting people that are driving big cars, living in good houses, and especially where you live matters.
Yeah.
You will not host your party leader if you're living somewhere,
That's true.
So you're pushed towards that direction. The question is, do you have the ability to work towards that? Yeah. What I would love to bring out is, how do you walk the journey so that the dream you have, you connect it with a good strategy to take you there? Not cutting corners, because again, in Kenya, we have so many people cutting corners, corrupt deals here, get the tender, don't deliver, get paid for it. And then we want to get there very fast. Get rich quick strategies. Right. So I would say everybody should examine themselves. Okay. We have different backgrounds. I may come from a poor background and I have so much to take care of. I have siblings to take care of. I have people to take to school. So there's a car I cannot afford right now. I need to be real to that fact. Right. So and live up to my means. So balancing both your dreams and your reality of now is very important.
Even as you talk about that, I'm just going to drop in information that may not be important, that at some point, before Mercedes brought out this brand, the CLA, to capture the younger people, they realized that the average age of the drivers of Mercedes was 53 years.
Wow.
So when they brought in the other brand, and it dropped to about 46 years, which tells you something about how long it takes people to really
self-actualize.
to get to the place where they can actually drive Mercedes-Benzes around life. But you've brought up a very valid point, and for me, this is an issue, Cebbie. Like, if you are in a certain space, there are things that you do, and sometimes you're looking at this house as part of what you do. If you're meeting people, if you're in politics, for example, your house is part of what you do. So you cannot put this house in a particular place where it will not be strategic for the kind of people that you need to meet. Sometimes even just if you're going to meet people in their houses, you want to leave that place late in the night, access your house. And that happens also for certain people who we would call socialites and something, because they want to host parties in their houses. So they feel, I need to have a decent house, I need to have this. How do I draw the line there over things like my house, being a want and being a need?
I think one reality we have to come to realize is that to whom much is given, much is expected, especially in terms of the socialization. People, your environment. I think the only missing link in this is where you want to be, not who you are. Yeah, where you want to be. As much as I know Chris drives a Range Rover and Geoffrey drives a Range Rover, and we are going for a place that they need a Range Rover, yeah? I think the whole idea would be, what do I need to make sure that I can dine and wine with you, but I'm not pressed.
Okay. All right.
I am not pressed, or I am not feeling a pinch of this. Yeah,
Right.
You may want to have your house in Runda or whatever, so that you meet your political associates and your friends and all that. But to what end? How do you make sure that it doesn't go there? So I think this is what people need to do. Yeah, you need to be authentic and true to yourself. Just define who you are and define your means of production. If this is not there, I honestly don't think I want to run with, you've met a car on the road, and because it's speeding, you're also speeding just because ananipita kwa nini. You guys are speeding. You don't know where the guy is going. Probably this is a suicidal guy who just want to kill themselves. So why would you meet someone on the road and you both of you are take off, you know? Yeah. So I think you need to define really what you have at hand.
You know, because Geoffrey, let me leave the political class out. Yeah. But a lot of people will start with a salary of 20, like it's their first salary. They will go and take probably an extension or an SQ in a certain place. It may even be 25.
Imagine.
It may be even 25.
It's true.
And some for good reason. Some will tell you I want to live close to work. Some will tell you I want a safe place. Some will tell you, quite a number of things.
True.
So how do we get these people? If I grew up, for example, I grew up all my life in Karen, and then I've gone to start life. My first salary is 20K. I want to start life. Yeah. Must I start in Babadogo, man? Because I've never lived there.
You know, CJ, the truth of the matter is things have changed. Times have changed. Right. If we go back to our parents never did anything for themselves. They did almost everything for us. Yeah. Sure. That's where we're coming from. But today we have a people who are it's about me. All right. Do I have it all? Am I seeing the best? Am I, dressing the best? And we forget tomorrow. We forget tomorrow. Anybody who is thinking about leaving inheritance for his children, children like the book, good book will say, must think about how do I create wealth and not just finance lifestyle. Okay. When I train on financial management, there are two groups that, from Greece, the Edens and the Spartans. The difference between the Spartans and the Edens were lifeists. They financed lifestyle. Both of them worked hard. Correct. They were very entrepreneurial, but with the motive, the intentions were different. The Spartans were they that worked hard, to make sure that they create wealth. They are the ones who did the best buildings in Greece. They had best establishments, but the Edens lived the best life. Okay. So and those two people are always, within our society. Right. People who are working hard to finance their lifestyle and others who are working hard to create wealth. What's the difference? The difference is this one has a short-term vision. Sure. The other one has a long-term vision. Right. And like Cebbie said, what's your dream? What do you want to achieve in life? We have aspirations, but let our aspirations be measured. Okay. If I am earning 20,000, like Cebbie said, let me not be pressed by in terms of where I live or who I go to for a chama with.
But Geoffrey, okay, I'm coming to you, but now look, I grew up in Karen, or in Kilimani. So my first job, I'm trying to prove a point, or rather, I'm trying to prove to myself I can live on my own.
Yes.
My first job is 20K. The options of a house within the 20K may be a place that I am totally not used to. Is that a valid consideration?
CJ, the truth of the matter is, if any good father, and I think I listened to Uhuru's story sometimes back, the president was being interviewed and how his father pushed him, to live with the commoners and to fight his own way up. The reason why we are also bringing a very weak generation and people who can't fight simple battles is because of pampering them. Right. All right, we give them everything. Someone is earning 25,000, but the father is giving him 100,000. So you're spoiling this boy. Yeah. He needs to start with that 25,000, go to Nadora or wherever he will go and start life there. It may not be easy, but this is the truth. The moment this person learns, if he learns personal finance management from that 25,000, he will manage $1 million. Look at all the crazy tycoons.
I'm coming to Cebbie.
I just want to add on to what Geoffrey is saying, that you're earning 25, okay, but your father would give you 100,000. By the way, that is a typical example why whenever some rich guy dies, in Luo we say they die with their riches.
That's true.
You know why? Because he pampered the kids. He did not tell them how to make the 100 on top. I used to have a classmate, the daughter of the Oluga. They were big, yeah? She used to tell us that my dad used to give me five bob. And I used to ask, why? You guys are rich. I mean, everything else. Why would he say it? But my father used to give us 1 bob or 5 shillings. Told us, this is not your money. This bread you're eating here is not your bread. So what you need to do is find your own. And the reason why I'm taking you to St. Albert's Ulanda Girls and not St. George's and not Kenya High is because I want you to learn.
Yes.
That is where I was from. So the problem also comes with the upbringing. How do you project your children to the adversity intelligence? Most of these parents you see around here, they will go for IQ. They want best kindergarten. They want all these things that you might, and the reality of life, you cannot get in all those posh, intelligent, conscious classes that you go for. There is the adversity. How do I face this problem? For example, if you are earning 25K, one thing you know, something must give way. If you really want to live at something must give way. If you want to live at the posh or near workplace, good for you. But then you have to look at it this way. What am I compromising for me to pay this 25K? Then I get to my work.
Yeah.
Okay? So one, you either compromise buying a car for the rest of your life. 2, you must also compromise your other expenditure so that you maintain your rent. I'll tell people, a lot of people in Nairobi struggle for rent. Why? You must give ways for something.
Yeah.
Personally, what I know I cannot compromise is security. That is my number one. Because I dread rape and I dread thugs. I mean, if you are coming to rob, just come with open eye. But if you try to
see why she can't go to the other.
Because security there, compromise.
So I will. That is something that I will try and make sure that I work with. Yeah, it means there is something that I'm giving out.
Yeah.
All right.
Otherwise, I would just go to where the much I have can sustain me, so that I also have another expense. Right. So in everything you do, as much as you really want to get to, you want to be comfortable, you want to live at 20,000, and then you leave the 5. Just know that this 5 now, where do you take it? What do you work with it for? It's not bad to live at 20, by the way.
Right.
There must be something you're giving way for.
All right. Yes. And you were talking about the people who have made it, like the top wealthy people.
Yeah.
But Geoffrey, especially the young people, because those are mostly the people who would view the show, most of the young people. When you talk about the Chris Kirubis, the Manu Chandarias, they feel a disconnect. They feel that is another generation. So they're looking at the people they think are in their generation who are making it.
Yeah.
And all they see is fancy houses, fancy cars, fancy lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, a glass of wine here with a beautiful view and something. So that's their idea. I mean, they feel they cannot attain, at least for now, what a Manu Chandaria or Kirubi has attained. So how do you then get this young person into a place of this personal discipline to see the bigger picture?
You know, it boils down to how both upbringing and mentorship.
Okay.
Mentorship, because we have a generation, of course, the elder generation, the older generation, they're not telling us the journey. They're not showing us the journey. And we need to have men who are sitting with it. And again, I will compare this generation with where we're coming from, where men would sit around a fireplace and they would be told ways of how to become a man. You know, the Maasai style. Get a spear, go kill a lion, you become a man. Get circumcised, go here, live this life, 30 days in the forest and fighting giants and all that. I think we need to come back to that level where the older generation trains the younger ones how to become them. Otherwise, we'll be dreaming to become like them, but we do not know the journey. Yes. Now, what we are seeing right now is a group of people who want to drive the best, live, Chris Kirubi's life. But do we know what Chris Kirubi went through?
We don't.
Do we even understand where he began? Manu Chandaria, a man who sold, sweets in a bus to even become who he is today. Are we willing to go to that level? And so we have to get to the mentorship point where men are telling us their stories, true stories.
Yeah.
This is how I made it. And let them come to the shows like this and tell the young people their story. And that for you to come up here, you have to start somewhere. Otherwise, we are building on sand.
As you say that, then I'm just thinking that it is possible that in the next 15 to 20 years, the people who will be sitting here to tell the stories are the people we look down at today because they are the hawker on the street.
Exactly.
While we are trying to look like we have made it.
Yes.
And we have not made it.
Yeah.
We are broke. But then this hawker that we pass by the street, who is making little money, they are saving this money.
Yeah.
They are joining the chamas. They are getting into all manner of ways of saving and multiplying the money.
That's true.
They take loans and empower themselves.
Yeah.
And then we keep on looking like we're doing it. Then 20 years down the line, we'll be talking about, but I used to see this guy on the street.
How come?
This guy used to sell things to us. Cebbie, are we having the right conversations when it comes to the dignity of work, especially for young guys? Are we having the right conversations? Because you see, like what I'm talking about with Geoffrey, a hawker, that is supposed to, how can you be a hawker?
Yeah.
Nobody's seeing entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
They're looking at it like, how can you be a hawker on the street? Are we having the right conversations?
I think the conversation has been watered down with so many things. Yeah, especially the expectations that we have, we as the youth or this generation. And my question would always be this: in all the inspirational books and in all these riches, whenever you hear their story, there must be something very ugly from the beginning. Does it mean it's a way to make it sensational, to sell your product or to show your work? Or it's really genuine that this is how far you've come? You see, whatever has also affected us or affected this generation is also the lies that comes with the whole thing. Nobody would want to come and say, by the way, I am from the dynasty. And the reason why I've made it this is because of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Mostly, all these people will tell you that I sold sweets. I walked from Babadogo to whatever. I did this. You see, that is the narrative that they push out there. So from the beginning,
but Cebbie,
people are not.
I used to walk from Zimmerman to South Bay. That is a true story.
That's fine. So I'm saying where we are losing it is we do not know which one is the truth?
Yeah.
Or
Right.
how do I walk my journey? Because the whole idea of being in your social network, or the social capital they call it, is not just enough until you do something out of it. Okay? Being a genius is not just you're doing something extraordinary, nothing. You're doing something that is ordinary that no one else wanted to do.
Right.
Okay? You're shooting a target that everyone sees, but no one is shooting it. So you shoot it right. The problem is, how do we know which one is true? And how do you move from point A to point B of where you're going? Yeah, in terms of the conversations that people have around. I want to be like Cebbie, but do you know what it takes to be Cebbie? Yeah, you may want to die. Ask anybody, randomly ask people, how do you want to live your life?
Yeah.
They'll tell you, I want a big car, I want a good job, and a beautiful family. But what does it take to have a good family? First of all, everything else, your space has to go. You have to give way.
And sometimes what we call a beautiful family is photos that we see.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's just photos. This person is managing a lot of things in that house.
But if you ask this person, how do you want to die? They'll run away. Reason being, they don't want to face the reality. So how do you get your car? You have to work hard. How do you get a beautiful family? You have to compromise. You're not going to be some chauvinist who stands somewhere and say, my space. How would you work with someone if you cannot, if you guys cannot come together and understand each other? Right. So what we are missing in all the conversations we have is, number one, the reality. Number two, the nitty-gritty of what it takes to be what we want in life. And number three is the purpose. Sometimes your path is not my path. And what we need to understand in human relations is that we are all born differently. And nobody has a corner of dreams full that they are going to make it. No. We all need to walk the path slowly. Some will be slow, some will be fast. It doesn't matter. Right. Just know your direction, where you're going. I like the way Frank Moller says, your true north. Yeah. Find your true north and know that this is the direction you're going. That is where you need to go.
All right. Yeah. So Geoffrey, if I am sitting, even me sitting right here, and if I'm sitting out over there and I'm feeling like 2020 has been such a difficult year, I need to make certain adjustments. I have this fear though. How do I make adjustments without being perceived? Because peer pressure is real.
True.
It is real. I mean, we cannot ignore that fact. It's real.
Yeah.
So how do I make these adjustments without looking like I'm retrogressing? Probably I took a pay cut.
Yeah.
Or even if I didn't take a pay cut, money is not flowing as it should. But I still need to have places like, Cebbie saying security. Some people think they need a certain environment to raise their children in.
Yeah.
So
that's very important.
It's not that they're trying to be top class. They just they want their children to grow up in a particular environment.
Yeah.
And for that reason, they will pay higher rent just for their children. They're trying to see the future and all that. How does this person make this balance and the adjustment so that they also don't lose the values that make them spend whatever they're spending?
It's very important. What you've raised is very critical, because some things that may look like a luxury right now, for some of us is an investment. Yeah. Especially security. Sure. Security and the neighborhood. Yeah. If I want my children to grow with a particular mindset, I'll pay for it. Yeah. That's critical. Yeah. And again, even the car you drive, it may not be a luxury. It may be because of what you represent. But
the deals you're not going to cut if you're coming in there in a Pro Box, right?
Yeah, you drive a higher. So we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, what can we what can we give up or give away for another? Yeah. Because there's always an opportunity cost. Yes. What is that I'm willing to lose to gain the other? Right. And that one, you have to be real to yourself. If you're married, you have to sit with your spouse and discuss these things. What are we willing to pay for and what are we not willing to pay for? Of course, in personal finance management, we say, do you have deferred consumption of some of these things? Can you give up a luxurious car for the sake of taking care of now and get it tomorrow? You're just deferring, that gratification. Yeah. So there's always something you have to give up. And again, you may not change the location per se, but you can go to a cheaper house if you're renting.
Right.
and still maintain the same school for your kids, the same, same neighborhood. So something has to be given up.
Right.
And we need to again say this, it's about my life.
Yeah.
This is what I want to achieve. There's a story about a young man, in the Bible, David, and there's a question he asked when it came to killing Goliath. What is in it for me to kill this man?
Yeah.
And after he was told what he was going to gain, he said, "Isn't there a cause?"
Yes.
And I will always say there must be a cause or a reason as to why you're doing something. And if you can't find that cause as unto you, then don't do it for people.
Right.
The worst in terms of financial management and living within your means is if you're not living your life.
Okay.
If you're living a lie, and the church chamas, those groups have managed to bring people to a lie, living a lie. I don't have to live your life. I have to live my own life.
All right.
And so sorry for that. And so it's important for me to ask myself, am I living my life? How much do I earn? How can I split my money? Am I saving? Am I investing? Do I understand how to split my money? If my salary is not enough, how can I do a side job that will bring my cash flow to where I want it,
right,
to take care of that? So you must have this honest discussion within yourself.
All right. Well, Cebbie, that aspect of my life, am I living my life or am I living a lie? Mm-hmm. How do we draw that? How do I know that I'm living my life and not yours?
It's very easy, Chris, yeah? I honestly don't think I would manage our 100,000 rent right now. So
Okay.
I can't lie. I have to
Alright.
look at my, the expense
Yeah.
versus what I get in return, yeah? If I am earning 100,000 and I am still thinking, a lot of times I tell girls, let me just digress a bit. I tell people that I do not understand why whenever people are probably in a club, they want to drink all this manner of XO, which is 34,000, and that is what you earn.
Right.
Personally, I will drink water. I mean, just kill me if you want. It's because I am thinking, this is something that I will forget in the night.
Right.
And then come back tomorrow, I'm thinking, okay, my God, why am I not having all this, with this money? I think you need to look at your pocket. You see, the biggest lie or the loudest lie is a lie we tell to ourselves.
All right.
Yeah, this is the biggest lie we have on earth, by the way. I cannot lie to myself. I know I am earning 50,000. Therefore, if you are earning 100,000, we can still be friends, but we don't have to have the same setup. Yeah, I would definitely try and have it. And you look at how people like to play with our minds. All this. First, look at Samsung. They bring S6, then Kidogo, they bring S7. They tell you there's something about this S7 that you don't know. Mm-hmm. You jump into it. Yeah. Same to cars. BMW X1, X2, X3, X4. So it means this thing keeps on growing day by day. It's only you who needs. Why are you jumping into people's cars who you don't know the direction they are going?
That's true.
You need to get to the road and know that, hey, I am supposed to go to Kajiado.
Yeah.
And if everyone else is going to Isiolo, let them go. I think that is how we stay true to ourselves. But you need to know.
You're talking about that and the pressure to upgrade as well. The pressure to upgrade, even just with stuff like gadgets, it's so crazy.
It's because the environment has learnt us. Yeah. The environment is the most adaptive thing ever. They look at you, just mention something and go to social media. You will click the first and the second post will be whatever you thought about. Sure. Reason why the environment is adapting to what we think. We derive stimuli. We derive stimuli or meaning to what it surrounds us. So the moment you look at, I have an S8 and an S9 is coming next, then you realize, Geoffrey is having an S9. You want to jump onto it without knowing where you are going. So they're also playing a mind game with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just thinking about that, Geoffrey, even as we begin to wind up with this. You brought up something that is quite crucial, and I'm always saying, don't really look at the cost, look at the costs.
The cost.
I love to talk about that. And if we forget, just like Cebbie said, if you forget, so you're sitting over here with these people, they're socializing, somebody's spending 34,000 on a drink, 10,000, 5,000, you must remember where you want to go in life.
Sure.
That's it.
And so sometimes it's not even that you don't have the 34.
No.
It's just that it has something it needs to do.
Yeah.
So some people who may look like they're not doing very well are doing well. It's just how they've opted to spend their money, right?
Sure. And it's about priorities.
Yeah.
What are my priorities right now? Because we may be going to the same, church, school, all that, our children, but my priorities are not your priorities.
Yeah.
My priority right now, I may be saving for a piece of land, build, step by step. So my money, when you're doing a project, I used to share with my wife sometimes back, when we were doing our house, 100 shillings would actually see it with the eyes of nails. How many?
It's true.
It's true. When I have 1,000 in the pocket, I'm thinking that can,
cement.
That can get me cement. So 1,000 in someone's pocket could be a drink. 1,000 in my pocket is a bag of cement.
Right.
So what are your priorities? And that's what is very
And
important.
nobody takes photos of cement and puts on social media.
Until recently, then now we have started putting photos of the cement, yeah? Chris, I'll tell you a very short story. I was once thrown out of a club because I was drinking Fanta, and people who were standing had a Jameson. That time, I think Jameson has just came in, so there was some hype about it. So it was one in Kiza. Then these two light skin came. Okay, disclaimer, I'm not having a fight with you guys today. The light girls came over, and because they wanted to sit, I was with my cousin. She had also a glass of wine, but I had Fanta, and they had Jameson, and they had a shisha. So they said, we want to sit. I said, but come on, I mean, you found us sitting here. Someone told me, the bouncer told me, wewe huwezi hata nunua pombe, umekuja kukunywa hapa Fanta na wao wamebeba pombe, unajua hiyo pombe ni pesa ngapi? Toka nje. Wasonge. So when we refused to move, we were actually thrown out.
Yeah.
I was actually thrown out in 2015 from Kiza. Wow. Because I was having a Fanta, and because people think that for you to be in such a club, you need to be. So what happens? If I was to drink, or if I was to show people that I want to be here, I would definitely buy a Jameson, which I don't even enjoy taking.
All right.
So that is what we do. You do something which you don't even enjoy yourself,
Out of
but
pressure.
because everyone else is doing.
And you sit there sending texts to people.
And you sit,
send me M-Pesa.
Send me M-Pesa. And
pay.
before you know it, you'll realize that the bill is so much, something you did not enjoy. Okay? What people do not understand is this. Do you enjoy this thing, or you're doing it because Grace is doing it? Am I happy with it at the beginning? So if you're happy with it and it's costly, well and good. But if you're not happy with it, it's because of other things, then I think you need to let go.
All right. Well, my time, I keep on telling me time is up. And time is never up on CJ Scott, because we just keep on going with conversations, and that's the beauty of it, because then we never get to finish. But again, as we say, we set up the jury, the verdict remains with you. We start up conversations, we have those conversations with you. You got to think about the things that you're doing. Are you living your life? Are you living a lie? Do you have purpose to it? What are your priorities? Well, as Cebbie says, if you're doing it for you, then you must know that you're going to have to pay a price on certain things. You let some things go. So you need to sit down, think of where you're going, count the cost about what you are doing, then make the decision. Is this something I want to do? Is this a cost I want to take up? Geoffrey talked about it. You may defer consumption to the future. It's a thought that you've got to have. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have these comments and conversations going on still. Share the stream. Host a watch party. Until the next time, CJ Atemo and CJ Scott. We'll see you.